This is the Florida Gator team everybody in the country was terrified to see. Florida has completely taken a stronghold over the SEC, and we did a video 2 weeks ago about Florida setting themselves up to take control of the SEC. Texas A&M at the time was the #1 team in the SEC. They have lost, I think, 4 straight games now, which we predicted that they were fraudulent, and they clearly are. But the thing about this Florida team that everybody, I think, was worried about, if you're not a Gators fan, was if Xavaian Lee started to find some flow and rhythm offensively. 22 points tonight on 7 of 12 shooting, 4 of 7 from the three-point line. Boogie Flan, who wasn't super efficiently, again, 3 steals that show up in there and just constantly getting deflections, playing the passing lanes. Every game, it feels like he gets at least one of those swipes on a guard and little two-hand flush down on the other end. This is the best front court in the country. The backcourt is starting to gel. They have depth. And while honestly, I'm not the biggest Golden fan, I do have to give him a ton of props for becoming one of the best young coaches in college basketball, knowing how to rebuild a national championship team and get the team playing the right way by the time they get to March. So it's honestly a huge credit to Golden and what they've done in Gainesville. But now at this point, Florida has won 5 games in a row. 3 of those have been on the road, and the 2 games that weren't on the road were against ranked opponents. And I think if you look ahead in their schedule, the only tricky game left is the Arkansas game, which is going to be in Gainesville. So I do still like the Gators in that. They will go back to Kentucky for a game, but honestly, I think Florida just has way too much for Kentucky to deal with. And at that point, the regular season championship is probably going to be over. So maybe they lose it, maybe they don't. I think the way Golden appears to be as a coach and this team appears to be, that's not going to matter to them if that is already clamped up. They're going to want to go into Lexington and go get another victory over the Wildcats, which sets themselves up for a really interesting run in the SEC tournament and March Madness. I think at this point, this Florida team is a lock at the 3 seed. I could easily see them getting to 2. I'm not sure if there is a path to the 1 seed, even if they were to win out and win the SEC tournament. I think it would just put them as a really high 2 seed. I think the committee, when they look at it, are going to give some other teams favorable situations. And then 2, I think that Duke game might come back to bite them. And again, if we remember it correctly, Florida lost by 1, questionable goaltending call. And so that could be the deciding factor of Duke getting the 1 seed over Florida, depending on how this ends up shaking out. But regardless, Florida as a 2 or 3 seed is not going to be a team that anybody in the country is going to want to deal with. The front court is going to travel. The defense is going to travel. Golden has proven himself to be one of the best coaches in the country, not even just one of the young up-and-coming coaches. He's established himself now one of the few coaches with an active national championship. And it could be a situation where Florida goes back-to-back like they did in 06-07 with Billy Donovan. And that is going to start entering the table now, and you're not that far off, and this Florida team is starting to look like it. I think you still want to consistently see more out of Flan and Lee before you completely crown them, saying like this is a Final Four team lock. But the question we have polled below is, what do you think the floor and ceiling is for this Florida Gators team? I think the ceiling, honestly, is another national championship, and I think the floor is at least getting to the Sweet 16. They look legit Elite 8, Final Four bound, this team right now. So get in the comments, let me know what you guys think about this Florida Gators team. Is Todd Golden a top 5 coach in the country right now? Where do you rank him at? And how does Florida finish the regular season, and what seed do they get in March? Hit like, hit subscribe, and your name in the portal. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.